G'day, and welcome all of you back to another Rage video, where today, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming all the way down under. I could have literally have done the Pommy Bastard a good favour by actually turning the entire thing upside down. I know how you Pommy Bastards usually get very familiar. Okay, I'm just going to literally stop it right now, because I know fine well, as distracting as that was, it's not nearly going to be as distracting as the fact that, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I have absolutely no issues whatsoever with spiders. And it might interest you to know, because I'm getting into the swing of actually just doing very small little fact checks about Australia, well, about the oceanic continent. And you may be surprised to learn that there were over 1,500 types of spiders and at least 4,000 different types of ants in Australia. And let's do a little bit more digging as we go through the top 10 most dangerous spiders you can find in Australia. Now, again, remember, this goes all the way back to 2012, so perhaps information about this might have changed, but what the hell? You know what I mean? This is the Sydney funnel web. Now, would you guys like to know a little bit more about this? No? Well, tough. I'm in charge here, but first of all, he looks quite menacing, to be honest, but let's ignore that for a second. With highly toxic venom produced in large amounts and large fangs to inject it, the Sydney funnel web is without a doubt the deadliest spider in Australia and possibly the world. Found in New South Wales, in forests as well as populated urban areas, they burrow in humid, sheltered places. They can wander in backyards and sometimes fall into swimming pools, and though they're not often encountered, they will be quite aggressive when threatened. Though just 1.5 to 3.5 centimeters big, the Sydney funnel web has fangs larger than a bronze snake's, and so powerful they can even pierce through nails and toenails. Their venom has a compound that can attack the human nervous system and alter the functioning of all organs, and, when coming through from a male, can kill. There's something at the back of my throat as well. I can't even shake it off. 1 in 6 bites can cause a severe reaction, but since the anti-venom has been made available in 1981, no fatalities have been recorded. So, yeah, not so dangerous now that what's even the point of literally saying this is the most dangerous in the world? What it just spoils the thing by giving us the best one last. And then, of course, there are other funnel webs, which there are about 40 different species. But then, have you ever seen this? The redback spider. I mean, this guy looks long. That's what he looks. Look at the size of those legs. Redback spiders are found throughout Australia in many habitats, including urban areas. They often hide in dry, sheltered places such as garden sheds, mailboxes, and under toilet seats. Numbers of redback spider bites are uncertain, but about 2,000 are reported each year and about 250 people receive antivenom. No deaths have been recorded since the redback antivenom became available in the 1950s. So again, this one looks bad. Oh, look at this one. This is called a mouse spider. And there are at least 8 different species all throughout Australia, and they're typically found in burrows, often near rivers or waterways, and can occasionally be found in suburban areas. Oh my god. Then of course, that's a spider. The trapdoor spider. And these spiders are named after their habit of camouflaging the entrance to their burrow to trick their prey into falling inside. So yeah, you're looking at what looks like a trap, but it looks like a hole with basically 8 dismembered legs, but no, that's a spider. Then you get white-tailed spiders, and then there's things like the Australian tarantula. Good lord, that is quite creepy. The reclusive spider reclusive, fair enough, you don't stay there. The huntsman spider, that's like That looks way bigger in hopefully it's nowhere near as big as when you actually encounter them. And finally, the common garden web or weaver spider, which that looks... Nah, it's probably so common you won't even begin to think of them as like scary whatsoever. So, despite the fact that literally that's like the tip of the iceberg, and again, it's like the problem for like spiders so... Oh, that is quite big actually. The fact that spiders literally... Is it such an issue in Australia that the only way to combat them was literally just to invent anti-venom? Now, again, it might sound like I'm generalizing a lot of this because there's so much more to Australia than meets the eye, from the Sydney Opera House, the Outback, Aboriginal museums discovering about native history, covering across, I believe it's at least all 5 of Australia's main counties, which are probably all bigger than at least the nation of France. So you got things like Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria. No, okay. Hang on. Let me try and do this. I'm gonna stay here and crack this if it takes me all night. New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, Western Australia. Okay, so we got that. Queensland? Did I say Queensland? I'm actually gonna find out. One second. Here we go. And fortunately, we got well. So let's see. Okay, so that's 6. So okay, Western Australia, the Northern Territory, Queensland, Southern Australia, New South Wales, Victoria, and Tanzania. Well, sorry, Tasmania, I should say. Sorry about that. So I was only off by about 3. I was only off by about 3 territories. I actually kind of feel a little bit stoked right now. Although I will say I never necessarily thought as well is that it's surrounded basically by the Indian Ocean, which is, I don't know if that's a little bit strange because isn't like India at least 3,500 miles away from Australia? Whatever. I'm not entirely sure. It's not that big a deal, to be honest. Also, again, it's very interesting that literally Western Australia almost cuts into an entire third of Australia. And remember, again, Victoria is just this little bottom part down here in the southeast, and South Australia isn't even the southern point of Australia either. So again, outside of any other things that I pretty much kind of like wanted to like point out is the fact that, again, kangaroos are actually pretty dangerous as far as I've from what I've seen anyway, that they absolutely will kill people. Ayers, is it Ayers? No, it's not Ayers Rock. What am I thinking of? Again, it's something it might be Ayers Rock actually, but unfortunately, again, I have absolutely no idea in even what state it's even meant to be in. Again, this is the sort of thing that only comes into play when you realize that a large part of sort of what I imagine Australia to be look like was just mostly through like kids like geography documentaries from when I was like about 6, and the fact that I also played a small video game called Ty the Tasmanian Tiger for the PS2 when I was about 6 years old. Does anybody remember that series? It's actually a pretty cool series, all things considered. Anyways, so, and of course, yeah, Tasmanian Devil. What exactly does a real Tasmanian devil look like? I'm gonna find this out. What does a Tasmanian Oh, that is that really a Tasmanian devil? It looks almost like a slightly bigger and more aggressive capybara than it does and again, why exactly is it technically called a devil? That's what is a little bit like loose in my mind? Is it the fact that it looks so... I don't quite know exactly what, like, the name is supposed... Well, why it's referred to as a devil. And if so, is it like a rodent, or is it meant to be like a mammal or marsupial or stuff like that? Because the only other thing I can really think to be said about this little thing is that, hey, it may be called a devil, but it's got absolutely nothing in terms of pure evilness than the honey badger. And here's a picture of it. Yeah, this is it. This is the bastard child of literally all of humanity, ladies and gentlemen, is the honey badger. Remember, a honey badger does not kill you to eat you. It will tear off your testicles. So, yeah, but it's also commonly referred to as the badger of death. And without wanting to, like, again, make any more of a point about this, I think it's... And again, there's probably going to be a lot more about Australia I want to cover in multiple videos, from, like, bands as well as just a lot about Australia, to be honest. ABC, the Sydney Opera House. I was almost about to say Rolf Harris, but no, nobody wants to bring up Rolf Harris for any reason whatsoever nowadays. He is pretty loathsome. May he roast in hell, ladies and gentlemen. There you are. That's my biggest contribution right there. Also, I must absolutely say this before we get started. Foster's Lager is really good. I really like Foster. But then again, I like a lot of different brands of beer anyway, so if you can make a good beer, then I'm pretty sure we're going to get along like a house on fire. G'day. So, if you guys want to check out the original video, links will all be in the description down below. Oh god, yeah, like, imagine if you just literally, anybody from Australia watching this, they must find this entire video like so unorganized and extremely confusing, but please rise, ladies and gentlemen, or please stand for the national anthem of Australia.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth fertile. Our home is God by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath the radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this commonwealth of ours renowned above the lands. For those who come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share. With courage, let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
You know what's really, really interesting, ladies and gentlemen, is that I literally came straight off doing the national anthem of Fiji, thinking that as simple as it was very, very profound and extremely reflective of its natural beauty. Advance Australia Fair almost has the exact same idea, but I think maybe it's just the band. I don't know if it's just the band that they got for this, or the fact that it's just Well, mind you, with that being said, they have an entire opera house. I imagine it wouldn't be too hard to get a couple of get a band together of some description. Second of all, the lady who sings this, and I don't exactly know if I can. It was okay. Advance Australia Fair is the national anthem of Australia, created by Scottish-born composer Peter Dodds McCormick, and the song was first performed in 1878 and sung in Australia as a patriotic song, replacing "God Save the Queen" as the official anthem in 1984, following a plebiscite to choose the national song in 1977. Other songs and marches have been influenced by Advanced Australian Fair, such as the Australian Vice-Regal Salute. Well, imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. Just to show that absolute disdain for the English, that's an entire national anthem for a colony that the British found and subsequently populated and then dumped all of its criminals on. I will say again, that's the thing I was always going to like pause at the beginning, saying that Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, as opposed to British criminals that were starting to populate Australia some 200 years ago, but I don't really feel like I need to do that, I think. But anyway, like I said, nothing to say up yours to the monarchy and all that by having a Scot write the national anthem. That's actually quite funny. Oh, but I like that though. And also the woman that they got to sing for this, it sounds exactly almost like an Australian Idina Menzel. I like that. I say I really, really do like that. And apart from all of this, I love the fact that, again, as simple as it may come across, in history's page at every stage, Advance Australia Fair, the mission is very simple. It is to drive this enormous country into the history books. It is to make our nation proud, to make our young, make our free, make all those who work free, and to work to something glorious for the rest of the world to see. And they're even extremely open to the idea as well, because they even include this with, for those who've come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share. I actually get like kind of, it almost touches me a little bit whenever you see the idea of nations that are openly encouraging for people to come and visit. They are outstretching their arms as a gesture of love, as a gesture of goodwill. With courage, let us all combine to advance Australia Fair. We are stronger together. We are stronger united. United, never divided. That's about as simple and about as profound as you could possibly make for the real world. And it's, again, the sort of thing that is like an entire world apart from things like God Save the Queen. In fact, I'd say this is, if ever there was a point when the United Kingdom would become a united republic, we should have something like this as the national anthem, because it's about as profound and is sort of what you would want from a republic as much as possible, to be a representative of your country. And finally, there's just this. I would be remiss for me to not mention this as well, but well, what's the absolute best way I can who was the really famous one? You know, who am I thinking of? It was like the really famous Australian one, the Australian presenter who Steve Irwin. That's who I was thinking of. I couldn't really even think about ending this video with the mention of men like Steve Irwin. And again, I even remember when he died as well, and he was only 44 as well, and that's like, that's no age nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. From known as the Crocodile Hunter, and just god damn it, that was dreadful. And you again, for such a national icon as well, it's the fact that it keeps being brought up over and over again, and I also couldn't remiss, ladies and gentlemen, from ending this video without mentioning a certain lady from Australia, a certain person called Angela White. I don't really feel like I need to like explain myself anymore because I think that would be entirely unnecessary. But actually, that doesn't even begin to sort of like Australia has got to be like one of those countries where it has some of the greatest people on earth that you have probably never heard of. Mind you, with that being said, that could apply for countless other countries that we've done so far. But it really has to be said, Australia is still one of those places where absolutely it captures my attention for its wildlife, its architecture, its people, its language, well, the way they speak, the way that things, again, it's just how different and how so very far away it is from us. It's almost beyond description. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty sure I do want to like cover more things from Australia in the future. Don't get me wrong about that. There's plenty more where that came from. But yeah, I feel like this is almost going to open a can of worms here on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. And that's something I'm pretty sure. If there are people from Australia watching this right now who have been very, very patient, then don't worry. There's plenty more where this came from. Australia, 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 we love you. Amen.